Yeah.
Let's focus, James. Curtis Koch, right?
Yes.
Got this.
Like the drink.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, glad to have you running camera for us tonight. We're coming up into Turkey Day.
That's it.
That time that all families are thankful, and there's so many things that we are thankful for.
Yes, we are.
So with that said, it's good to have you guys here tonight. Cameras are rolling, sound is going, screen capture is on, and we are ready to go. Give us a countdown.
Ready? 3, 2.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you.
These are anyway.
And by GL Robotics. With over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock, your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 255. I love how that sounds. For November 18th, 2023, I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And the November show just came out on the 15th, which was a couple of days ago. And I've already gotten feedback that people love it when we do how-to series on how to build stuff. And on this show, we're showing how we built the turntable for that Blackstone layout that we built to share and show all of the wonderful models that Blackstone Models had come out with at the time. It's a very in-depth 4-part series, and this is part 4 of that series, showing how to build a layout from start to finish. And just remind you that every single technique used in that video can be used in any scale whatsoever. The December video just got put out on Tuesday. In that video, we've got George Buckatuck sharing with us how to light a layout as he's building a brand new layout in his new space. And we've got the Bachman interview. We share some beautiful Broadway limited locomotives. There's some surprises in that one. I'm going to let this one ride at that and let you guys see what else is in there. There's a lot of great material in December 2023, and here we come into 2024, guys. So tonight, sitting on the set with us, I've got Steve Mantia sitting where Mike always sits. Hey, Steve.
Hello. I'm glad to be in Mike's spot here. It works out perfect.
You
Did you bring any cars today?
No, I didn't bring any cars.
Sitting right next to Steve Mantia, I've got in Skype land, Curtis Koch from Broadway Limited in beautiful sunny Florida.
How's it going, guys? Great to be here.
It's great to have you on the show. The last show you were on, Curtis, was so much fun, and we are going to do the same thing tonight.
I know, I'm excited. We got some new stuff coming out since then. Lots of new stuff on the way. There's a lot of great stuff coming out with us, and I'm excited to get into that with you guys tonight.
That's awesome, and there's a lot of amazing Broadway stuff on the table tonight. Sitting right next to me where Joshua always sits, I've got my favorite James Regier. Hey, James.
Hi, everybody, and I'm going to do the best that I can against Ken's pencils.
Oh, you are?
Normally I have Joshua as a human shield, but now I do not.
So I want to say this week was a wonderful week in that, I spend a lot of time with Landon. That's Holly's 7-year-old son, and my son as well at this point. And I took him over to K10's because I had called you, and you told me on Thursday nights K10's has got an operating session.
Yes, I think the third Thursday of the month. So I think this would have been it.
So we went over there and we saw Ken. I gave him a great big hug. And Landon was just enthralled at the fact that the layout was built on top of countertops. Now, let me say this. The cabinets that go above countertops are generally about 24 to 26 inches high. And that's the height of the layout once you quantify the 1x4 benchwork that was there. So we're at 26, 28, almost 30 inches high, which is a perfect height for children, especially at 7 years old of age, to be able to observe and look at the trains. And Landon loved it. He saw the Amtraks running by. I shot a little bit of B-roll of him looking at Neil Moltz's beautiful fire engines here, and I tried to get Landon to look right at the camera and smile, but he wanted to look at those fire engines. And thank you very much, Landon and Holly, for going over there with me so that I could share with you this amazing layout that Ken had built for all of us to look at. Right?
Oh, yeah.
What would you add to that? Because you go over there all the time with your daughters.
Yeah, well, I mean, they really love operating on it, too. Were it not for parent-teacher conferences and all that, that's, yes, on Thursday, we would have probably gone ourselves. But, yeah, because Renata will actually operate the locomotive. We'll take turns playing engineer and conductor, and it works very nice. She's actually pretty adept at it.
Well, that's very good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun operating with her. And in fact, I might even send you some, and then when she's not operating, then sometimes she'll be borrowing my phone and taking video, so I might have to send you some of that.
The one thing that I noticed about Landon was it appears, and I've noticed that on this layout down here too, he's like Mike. He has an interest in the vehicles more than the trains. The trains are like a background prop, occasionally for the train to run into at a crossing. But the fact is, I really sense that he loves cars and trucks.
Well, hopefully the train doesn't run into him at the crossing.
It happens.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a lot of amazing stuff going on. I know we're coming up into Thanksgiving, and that's that time that we are the most thankful for. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Curtis. Tell us, what are you thankful for this year for Thanksgiving?
Oh, gosh. Well, obviously the obvious, friends and family. I'm probably most thankful for my girlfriend this year for helping me move down here. Not many people before you're engaged would want to move across the country with you. So she helped every step of the way. So she's been fantastic. And I guess it's a little bit of a trade-off because I have to drive her to Disney World every once in a while to get her Disney fix in. But I definitely would be thankful for most friends and family. Thankful for the guys at Broadway for giving me the opportunity to not only trust the ideas that I have and the suggestions that I have, and being able to get creative for them and up their social media game and their marketing game on all that front. So a lot of things to be thankful for on my end this year.
So you're saying that one of the fringe benefits for working at Broadway Limited is that Disney World is a day trip.
It's about an hour and 10 minutes from us.
Oh, man.
So it's not too bad. We're actually going to Hollywood Studios tomorrow. We're driving. We'll probably get up a little bit earlier in the morning, and then they just redecorated everything for the holidays. So it's all Christmas decorations and all that stuff.
Oh.
So Annika has to get her Christmas lights fixed and everything because there's not a lot of snow and everything down here for when we grew up in Chicago, and she grew up in Minnesota. So we haven't seen the Christmas lights as much down here as we did it back at home. So we'll get a little nice fix in and enjoy the day, and then probably come home around like 3 or 4 o'clock.
Now, having just watched Home Alone 2 with the girls, can you confirm whether there are, in fact, Christmas trees in Florida?
Well, we've got 2 of them in the house right now. Literally November 1st came, and Annika was already setting up the trees. And one of the trees is nicknamed the train tree because it has... I collected all of the Hallmark ornaments of the different trains that came out, like the 3-piece sets that came out from Hallmark.
Oh, yeah,
so I have a bunch of those ornaments on this tree, and it's literally all train ornaments from Lionel trains that those are ornaments from, and a couple of other little souvenir and knick-knack ornaments that we've gotten that are train-themed. Polar Express, you name it, all that stuff is on there.
Oh, nice.
It's not unusual to put the Christmas tree up right there November 1st. I mean, my house is already, Glenda has already decorated for the Christmas time, as soon as the last trick or treater comes, Christmas
Well, Halloween had to be
decorations are up.
passed, and we had the boxes sitting in the living room.
Well, we have them in the garage, and they're ready to go as soon as they were done. So,
Steve, your wife Glenda is so amazing the way she decorates and makes the home look so pretty.
yeah, she does.
But I saw a cute picture on Facebook the other day. It was a turkey blow up, one of those blow up turkeys, sitting on top of Santa saying, "Wait a minute, fat boy, I'm first."
Yeah, wait your turn. Yeah,
No,
wait your turn is right.
I shared this meme that says the war on Christmas cannot end until Christmas ends its illegal occupation of November.
There you go. All right, Steve, briefly tell us, what are you thankful for this year?
Well, the usual. I'm very thankful for my family, Glenda and Zachary. I'm just always just happy that everybody is healthy in that aspect. And then beyond, I'm always happy now that we have such a growing train family with doing the shows and just all the people you're getting to know more and more. That train family has just made us feel even more enjoyed with the hobby in that aspect. So
There you go, James. At you.
Well, it's certainly my family. A good reminder of Thanksgiving is my youngest daughter was actually born 6 years ago on Thanksgiving Day. Even got a little onesie from Barnes Jewish Hospital there downtown, saying this little turkey was born at Barnes Jewish on Thanksgiving Day. She does not want to be called a little turkey, though, just to be clear. But yeah, today we had her 6th birthday party. But yeah, I'm very thankful for family. Great life situation. I mean, there's a lot to be thankful for.
There's a turkey on the table tonight.
yes, there is.
And you told me that turkey's name is Dirk.
Yes, that's that is his nickname. Yes, that is his nickname. So I didn't know if we would discuss that or not, but yes, that's it.
Ken, I tried all evening, and that's one of the reasons I was a little bit late. That radio tower I built last year that flashes and all that.
Yep.
It has a bad Arduino unit in it, so I'll have to rebuild it. So unfortunately, it was, but I had in mind, since it is the WKRP station that I built, and since I had a whole bunch of 3D printed turkeys in HO scale, that I could have just, I even thought about bringing that DC-3 along, sort of flying it along and doing a turkey drop right onto the table.
We'd have to rehearse that.
Yeah, but but they didn't. I mean, as God is my witness, I thought they could fly.
All right.
Well, let's see if the turkey flies now.
All right.
Like a wet bag of cement, isn't that how it goes?
Let's take it out.
They're organizing. They're coming after us.
Oh, here we go.
Curtis, save me. Tell us, Curtis, you've got a lot of exciting stuff you want to talk about tonight, including a lot of the locomotives I got on the table. I'm going to start before here I go. You sent me 2 N-scale Pacific locomotives that I have included in the December What's Neat's opening monologue that I just recorded. And these, I called them gems on the show. They've both got Paragon 4 sound in them. I'm going to show one picture at a time. Each one is exquisite, shot outdoors in outdoor sunlight. I mean, look at the drive wheels, look at the tender, look at this beautiful stuff in N scale. You also sent me a GP35 in the Chinese red in the Burlington paint scheme. And that in itself, I've got 2 photographs of. I want to show you guys out there in sky on the show. Shot from the side and from on top, showing you all the fidelity. And oh my goodness gracious, the various road names. And what they didn't miss on this one that I read through on the show was all the different light combinations. Even the Southern Pacific has got special lighting effects that the rest don't have. You guys are very thorough in your research. Plus, the sound of this locomotive came off of a prototype GP35 where you guys actually recorded the sound. But Curtis, welcome to the show, and tell us about some of the amazing stuff you want to talk about tonight.
Yeah, so let's get started with those N-scale Pacifics. Those 2 that you have there, those are coming out later on this month. So by the time you'll get into December and everything, those should be in stores, so you should be able to get one. And there are a couple of holiday-themed paint schemes, so if you like to get into having a little N-scale train around your tree, then you can definitely pick one of those up as well. A couple of different paint schemes as well. We got Boston and Maine, Southern Pacific, Daylight, a couple of fantasy schemes mixed in. One of the big prototypes, one of the more popular paint schemes, is the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern 425, painted in that blue scheme. That is there as well, not on the table tonight, but that is one of the paint schemes that we're offering in this run. With the Paragon 4 sounds, we actually have all new sounds for these Pacifics compared to previous runs. Some of the sound files are updated, and Joe Goddard did a great job of capturing that with these locomotives. The GP35 you see there, those have sold really, really well. We have a couple more shipments coming later on this month and early next month. What we did is we shipped the sold portion first via the air. So those will be in customers' hands hopefully by later this week, early next week. The remainder that were unsold, so if you're still on the fence about getting one, might be another couple of weeks before they hit the States. But nonetheless, with, like you said earlier, Ken, we recorded it off of a real GP35. It's not just the fact that we go through these lengths to get the sounds, it's the elements that we battle. Joe Goddard was literally standing in a blizzard-like condition at Conway Scenic recording their 216, their GP35 that they operate there, and getting the sounds off of that and turning it around, and we're able to get that. But all the different lighting functions, like you mentioned, Pro Mode has been something that a lot of customers, I think, have not quite understood or utilized that much, and Pro Mode allows you the opportunity to individually control each lighting function. So the cab light, the number boards, the classification lights, directional headlights, all that stuff. The Rule 17 light dim, all that stuff is controllable in Pro Mode, and it really adds another realistic element to your operations with these locomotives. If you still are on the fence about getting one, get your order in now, because those are really close to being completely sold out, and we don't have a lot left in stock with us. So contact your local dealer and make sure that you get your hands on some of those. We got Santa Fe. We got the BNSF, which is the actually rebuilt one. So it's a BNSF GP39-3, if I'm remembering correctly.
Wow, yes.
CB&Q, C&O, Pennsylvania Railroad, New York Central, Southern, Union Pacific, Southern Pacific. You name it, we got a lot of different stuff that's coming out. Southern High Hood, I don't know if I mentioned that already, but lots of different stuff coming out with those GP35s in this first run.
Plus, you've also built in capacitors into the decoder on this GP35, so if it hits a dead frog or hits dirty track, it will keep on running. If your lift-out section is out and you've got a kill space of probably 4 feet or less, yes, she's going to run off the edge.
She'll run off the edge
She
very
will,
happily.
right? I know, right?
Yes.
But the fact is, it's a very important feature, I think, to put in a lot of these locomotives because it's necessary.
And everybody's layout is different. Everybody's layout has different, whether it be temperature elements, if it's moisture that can affect the track plan of your layout. Everybody's layout is different, and if you are looking for something, even if you're just getting started and you want to have a smaller locomotive just to kind of get into sound in DCC, the GP35 is a perfect example. We've got GP30s coming out later on this year and into next year as well, in a variety of different paint schemes too. So if you're looking for a great 4-axle, either road unit or road switcher, whatever you prefer to use them for, it's definitely a perfect fit for many different eras of your railroad.
There you go.
Now, switching away from these 4-axles, I noticed an advertisement for the SD70 Aces, which are now an entirely metal die-cast body.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we got those coming out sometime next year. We're aiming for the spring. That's just a rough estimate right now. We're still waiting for a couple of pre-production samples to come in for us too, so we can look at them, evaluate them. Joe Goddard is the guy that also evaluates the models when they come in with these samples to make sure that the functionality works. If there's any flaws in the design that we have to go back and tweak, then we go back and tweak it. He's very thorough when he goes through these things, so we still have to wait for those to come in. But yeah, all die-cast body, wire metal handrails. That's a request a lot of people have asked for us, is to have those handrails be metal. The horn is going to be a brass part. The car body, the chassis, everything is going to be die-cast. We expect them to be between 2 to 3 pounds, at least in this first sample. So we don't know how much
gonna pull like
exactly it'll weigh
mothers.
when it comes in.
Yes.
But it's going to be a monster puller, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what else you got to talk about today? You sent me an email list of things that you wanted to cover briefly.
Yeah, so we've got the USRA Pacifics there. Another project that's coming in is the N-Scale SD40-2s. This is a rerun of a couple of different paint schemes that are newer, some new row numbers. So the sounds aren't quite the same. They're still, or aren't quite the newer sounds that we've been making before. They're still the same sounds as the first run of SD40-2s, but nonetheless, the paint schemes are really striking. We've got the Wisconsin Southern 40th anniversary paint scheme. We've got the Burlington Northern 1876, the bicentennial paint scheme there. Kansas City Southern, Santa Fe, first version of BNSF. Lots of different stuff coming out on those paint schemes. So you can go to our website or contact your dealer today to get your order in for that as well. This one I'm particularly excited for N-Scalers. I don't collect N-Scale, but if I were collecting N-Scale, I would get one of these. Our N-Scale Reading T1s have smoke. And just like our big boys, so when you put them on the track and you start them up, you press the function key for 7, and it'll go and start smoking. And I sent you some videos, Ken, that maybe you can show here of just some of the locomotives testing out the smoke. It's such a cool feature. And we've got lots of different paint schemes for those. A couple of fantasy schemes as well. A lot of people have been eyeing the Conrail fantasy scheme that we used, which was actually supposed to happen, I guess, before a roundhouse fire damaged the 2101, the locomotive that was going to be used for this Conrail steam excursion program that they were discussing back in the day. And we used the concept drawings from the artist to recreate that into our T1s. And we got a couple of holiday-inspired ones. There's an Independence one with patriotic sounds, and we've got a Christmas one as well with some Christmas sounds in there, too.
That's very cool. That's a lot of cool.
Very nice.
Poor Richard, you can't hear a word that Curtis is saying. We need to get you some headphones.
Yeah.
I actually tried to put a monitor speaker down here one day, and it didn't quite work. But Scotty
guess it'd be pretty
Hicks
bad.
is coming here the first week of December, and I have all kinds of sound questions for Scotty when he's actually going to be spending a couple days here at the home. We're going to be working. Yep. As you remember, Scotty Hicks is the same gentleman that helped us do our sound at Train Fest. It was like this. The whole time he stood in the back of the room like this.
Yeah.
And as I adjusted the little knobs as you watch the shows, we had special guests on. Yeah, thank you very much. And we so look forward to having you here the first week of December.
Was it just thumbs that he was giving
was
you,
just
or were there
thumbs.
any other
No,
fingers?
no,
or
no.
anything?
It was
Okay,
just
okay. I
thumbs.
just
It
didn't
was
know
like
for sure. That's
adjust up and down. Up
okay,
and down,
I didn't
up
know
and
there
down.
was other things.
Now, Steve Mantia, you brought some models that are some of your favorite Broadway limited locomotives. Why don't you kind of go through and tell us why and what you brought tonight?
Since like my father was a major collector of Broadway Limited, the different stages of it, the Paragon 3, Paragon 2, and what did we say, Curtis? The
QSI.
QSI.
Yeah.
Was that the first? That was the first one, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that
I
was the
believe
first
so,
sound
yes.
system,
So
yeah.
different sound system there. So I just figured I'd grab a few of them and bring them here on the table, since I'm glad to be on the podcast again with Curtis here and that. I brought the Texas and Pacific. That's a Paragon 2. Was it EMD, E8A, that aspect, and then
It's gorgeous, yeah.
the rest of the locomotives are the Paragon 3. Most of them, this one I know was in a display case. It never really ever ran. I think the Frisco one might have run. I know I've got some of the styrofoam putting it back in there, but when I was packing them back in the box, I went ahead and put all the proper packing in here so that the handrails and things like that didn't get broken. But no, my father always enjoyed the Broadway Limited, and he had the Rolling Thunder and all the stuff set up in his train room. So you had the sound, and then you had the lightning and all the stuff going with the fact there. So it was one of those things he really enjoyed. Broadway Limited, and I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I blame a lot of it on Bob Flora, because that's where a lot of a lot of the locomotives came from, because he would see Bob at some of the shows, and he would go over and buy a new locomotive each time from Bob and that. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but at least they're nice.
Spring Creek, Lombard Hobbies, all were big for me when I bought my first set of Broadway engines. I still have 2 QSI engines that still run perfectly fine. A J-Class, Norfolk and Western J-Class, and my Santa Fe Northern 3751.
Oh, yeah. That was my first.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. I showed actually one of our guys in the service departments, and my 3751, and the item number is 056. And he's like, I didn't know we made them that low before, like the item number was, because we're now used to items in the 8,000 ranges now, because some of the service guys are more newer to the company, so they don't know much about the stuff that we made in the past. So they're looking and they're like, wow, this feels like it's ancient. And I'm like, geez, that's my favorite engine you're talking about.
It has been a totally fake number of years ago. That they made it.
It was 2001, I believe, is when Bob and the guys started the company, and it's hard to believe that it's been over 20 years since that's all taken place. And I talked to Ken Silvestri, a couple times a week when he comes into my office, and he told me the story a few times about when he and Bob first started, that a lot of other people in the industry were like, sound in your locomotives, that's not gonna go well. And now everything has sound in it. Everything has sound in it. It's not just an O gauge thing. It's all across the board. Everybody is improving their sound. I think I said on the last show with you guys, Ken, that this is like the golden age of model railroading, with how detailed everything is, how the sounds are so crisp now. The future of the hobby is looking great in terms of the creation and the production of some of these models that are just fantastic.
I couldn't have said it better. My first 3751 was Bobby Hall's Hallmark Brass 3751 that I ran on the Midwest Valley Modelers layout. And that was a beautiful piece. And then when you all came out with yours, it could hold its own. It was exquisite and affordable at that time. So rock and roll, I absolutely share your passion with the Santa Fe Railroad. It was the one railroad that I definitely modeled. And in fact, I've been talking to Joe McMillan on Facebook. Joe, we love you. I wore the cover off of your book, High Green to Marceline, Joe, building that Midwest Valley Modelers layout, the double track main line, 14.5 foot on center main lines, running through Illinois from Chicago to Kansas City was the basis for that entire layout. And we look forward to having you, Joe, on the show. I know you've got a rich heritage and all the books that you have published over the years and the photography that you have shot over the years. Again, we've been talking on Facebook, and I look forward to having you be one of our guests as well.
When is this going to happen? I need to put that on my calendar.
Oh, you mean you're going to be here on time that night?
Oh, wow.
Can I be there too? Can I be there too? I actually have a couple of Joe's books. I'm looking at them right now on my bookshelf in the corner over here.
We'll let you sleep here at the house.
Okay.
But you got to be here. Too. I don't want you on Skype. I mean, this TV is one thing. I don't want to touch. I want you here. Like
okay. In a little box here. Yeah.
Just fill your trunk up with locomotives and come on.
Sounds good.
It'll work out perfect.
What do we go after that? James Regier, you've got some models. I know you still also, Curtis, have some more stuff to talk about. Let's go to James really briefly first. Go, James.
So this week I've been working on a cab for this U30CG, and basically it was a 3-shot deal. The first one was a little bit too tall. Second one was...
So this is the interior where you drive the train from?
Right. So
Denny was thrilled that you made a fuel tank.
So the original shell did not have a cab interior. This is the final one that works, notched out for the notch in the little outcropping in the weight there.
Okay.
So, I mean, the 3D...
Oh, that looks good through the windows.
The 3D design process just makes it easy to do, because you're not scratch building a little model and then trying to cut notches out of the styrene that you just put together, and probably destroying it in the process. You're actually, doing another print each time, and a print of this height runs through in about 2 hours, so it's not too bad. I also brought Joshua shared a photo on Facebook of us with some of Ray Plashevsky's trees.
Oh yeah,
remember those?
Yes.
Those were awesome. And he's primarily dealing in European trains.
Yes.
And I have this Fleischmann. This is the old Prussian train, which would have run probably prior to the First World War, because it says it's from the Royal Prussian Kingdom. So therefore, that would get the date because that fell with the First World War. But yeah, this was a set that my uncle from Hamburg sent one Christmas many years ago. I've not converted it to DCC. I probably eventually will.
You better.
And I do need to redo all the wheels on them because they are all that pizza cutter format. So
The deep flanges.
yeah. So
It's a beautiful set of trains.
but yeah, it's a nice little set. And I remember there was this kid's book that I really liked that my grandma had. It was a golden book. It was like Pino Learns to Listen, and it was about this locomotive this train. And the locomotive lost its caboose. The caboose rolled down the other side of the hill, and all the way. And so Pano takes off going down the hill. He passes geese, ducks, pigs, and everywhere he goes past, they say, "You've lost, you've lost." And Pano's like, "Well, I lost. Am I in a race?" So he keeps going faster and faster and faster and faster. He gets to the bottom of the hill, and it was his caboose they lost. He wasn't listening to what they were. He didn't let them complete their sentence. And so that was
a children's book about listening.
About listening. Wow, yes.
At any rate, this locomotive reminded me of the locomotive in that book. So I nicknamed it Pano as a kid when I got it.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
All right.
That is very nice.
You brought your horses in your carriage again tonight?
Yeah. That nice Clydesdale and wagon set. It's
Mike asked you, are the horses all the same? And as he said that, I was looking at your horses and I'm thinking, you know what? All the horses don't just stand there like that. You need to make another horse or two so they're all looking a little bit sort of different directions.
A little variety
Well,
of horses.
Come on.
now
To that,
I will say that the Clydesdales in this use are often very highly trained,
Yes.
so that they are at strong attention.
yes.
I'd talked with Mike about that before, about maybe manipulating them a little bit, whether they should be posed in different ways, and he said it'd probably be better that they're all the same, so that it doesn't look like they're a bunch of statues sort of standing there. Here they can be standing at attention.
all right.
But
Well, they're not galloping, so they're not moving. They're standing still.
right.
So I need them looking around a little bit at the crowd.
So, right.
Baseball fans.
Right. So now,
Best fans in baseball.
well, that's right. But Bernard Helen also makes a number of has done actual scans of Clydesdales. So if we can work with him to get some of those harnessed up, that might be a future addition at some point that we could do a cooperative effort there. Put them with the wagon.
And I understand you've got the program for this.
I do have the graphics.
So I
for
need
that.
you to scan me a 6-inch or 7-inch can so I can give it to Holly.
You print a 7-inch.
So she can put it on her desk.
Yes.
Because the little one's so little that
Yeah.
I want to be more dominant in the room.
Yes, she needs something a little bigger.
Since we're on the air, I'm going to leave that one alone.
Okay.
But
It's a different scale.
Yeah, different scale of Ken.
All right, Curtis, save me again. You've got a lot of other quick things that you would like to talk about that Broadway Limited is offering.
Yeah, well, Steve also brought in the shark noses there
Yes.
on the table tonight. Those are another run that we're doing that will be coming out later on next year. We've got Baldwin shark noses prototypical paint scheme, but we've got a great selection of fantasy schemes. I know some people are either hit or miss with some of the fantasy schemes, but the ones that we picked out were ones that were kind of what ifs. So, for example, the Duluth, Mesabi, and Iron Range, the DMIR,
Right.
they actually purchased the EJ&E shark noses. And even though they weren't repainted, they were still in EJ&E colors when they went to the DMIR. We have incorporated the DMIR paint scheme into it to kind of as like a what if. Both Santa Fe and Southern Pacific tested the shark noses, but they never ended up purchasing any. So we decided to replicate it again as a what if into the bookend scheme of their like freight F units and the Black Widow scheme of the F units that were going to be on the shark noses as well. So we've incorporated that into it as well. We got new Jersey Central is another paint scheme that we've got. We've got a couple of military themed ones, both one for Air Force and one for Army. So
Oh,
those
please
are
tell me
really,
you painted
really
teeth
cool.
on them.
Yes, they have teeth on them.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Very nice. Yes.
Actually, Ken, I will send you a photo of it, and you can show it here. I've got a couple of pre-production samples that we can show,
Rock and roll.
as well as some artwork. But yeah, so we've got those as well. Just really cool locomotives. So those are coming out also later next year, as well as everybody loves an F unit. So we've got more F units coming out, all different paint schemes. Santa Fe, Northern Pacific, CB&Q, Canadian National, Texas and Pacific, Southern Pacific Bloody Nose. We've just got a variety of paint schemes. So you can go to our website, look at the different paint schemes that might interest you, and then be sure to contact your dealer or local hobby shop and get your order in, because those are going to be always selling out with our F units. And those are just really unique F units that are coming out in different paint schemes and everything like that. We mentioned the GP35s earlier, and Steven was talking about how his dad had the layout Lightning Storm with the thunderstorm effects.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
in stock and in stores now. So if you're looking to add a little bit of fun, and you were talking about earlier about how your kids are going to these operating sessions and they're loving to see the interactive elements of it. This is the perfect thing for that too. And one of the neat tricks is that if you press the button, it'll do a bang and flash of lightning. But if you actually hold it down for about 5 seconds, you'll see two flashes. And it goes through a 5-minute full audio effect of like a storm rolling in, the rain, you hear the screen door banging shut, you hear then at the end you hear the frogs and the crickets come out, and then you hear like the storm die out as it washes away.
Wow.
So it
man.
adds a really nice little
Well,
effect. So if you're
It is-
Yeah,
Looking
you
to
mentioned
have
that,
fun-
but that's actually the one of the girls' favorite parts of the layout at K10s. He has an actual thunderstorm that he made there. I think it predates the Broadway Limited thunderstorm, but it'll periodically go off, and if it's not operating, they'll go to Ken and say that, "Hey Ken, can you turn this on for me?" Because it
See, perfect example.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to get
Yeah.
younger kids into the hobby, and not even besides just running the train, something that they can physically, push the button. When you get on an elevator, every kid wants to push the button at their
yes,
floor
yes.
that they're going to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So they're all infatuated with buttons. So it's a perfect thing in the water towers too. Another one that's in stock, HO Skill operating water
we
towers.
feature that in the November video that just came out 2 days ago. Joshua Barton was so intrigued with the water tank, he made a video on the water tank, how the spout goes down, how it goes up, and how you can hear the voices of the men filling the locomotive.
Yes.
And
that's
it's funny because we've gotten asked many times, do you just press it again? If you let the water tower keep running, you'll eventually hear the guy say, stop, it's overflowing, stop. And
that's
you'll
awesome.
eventually hear it, die down, and it'll, raise back up and everything. I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he used a K2 Mikado that's on the table there too for
We did.
the video.
Yes.
Yeah, because it looks awesome.
I
with,
run
the
this at the
Mikados.
beginning of the What's Neat show in the opening because it looks all this little around the water heater. Oh, the Alesco. Oh my God. The detail is so exquisite. And I think, isn't this one of your hybrid brass models?
Yeah, that's correct. It's
Okay.
Probably about 90% brass. There's a couple of parts on there that are plastic, and that just helps with tooling costs. So it's not a full-blown brass model, hence the name Brass Hybrid.
Right.
But 90% of those models, like the Blue Gooses that we've come out with in the past too, Those are also brass hybrid. There's mainly I think the Blue Goose is more like 95% brass, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, those are all really, really nice detailed
By the
models.
way, I am
have
so
one.
glad you came out with that Blue Goose.
He's got one.
I mean, that was one of those ones where, oh, you got it? I'm ordering like 5 minutes after I see it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I have mine too. Mine's actually sitting in its box right here. I
Yeah.
gotta pack
And
it
it's
up to bring to
it's
the club.
affordable. I think the Challenger Imports made the Blue Goose that I had on the Midwest Valley Modelers Land. I believe I paid $1,400 for that at the time, but it was again exquisite. I think they offered it with and without the skirts because at some point Santa Fe Railroad took the skirts off for maintenance ability to get to some of the apparatus on the
The
sides.
first time it came to the shops.
Right. The fact is, it's an exquisite locomotive. It's just
Yeah.
so beautiful.
And that's the thing with not even another example is our Northern Pacific and Southern Spokane, Portland, and Seattle. That's easy for me to say. Northerns that came out. The one that's restored up in Oregon with the daylight number 700. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that one's being restored and it actually still operates, or they're working on getting it back to operating condition, if I'm not mistaken. Those two, same sort of thing. 90% brass, beautiful models.
Now, isn't it the model that Jim 6, I think, weathered a few months back in Running Extra on its column? I think it was an SPS 4 and 484.
I don't know why I think this now. I'm not interrupting, but I just did. Didn't AHM come out with a Blue Goose back in the late 70s?
Yes,
I
and
believe so, yes.
I had one of
Right?
those.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
and I
Right?
looked at and I got one of those because with the idea that I would, and then the more I looked at it, the more I realized this detail is wrong, that detail is wrong.
I know, but
this
at the
one doesn't work.
time,
And
it was just
well, right. I like and so I was like, well, okay, maybe I can 3D print my way out of this. But
Right.
now with BO, I don't
I mean,
have
it came
to.
out with the big boy, too. So what if it had 65-inch drivers on it? We didn't know the difference at the
Yeah.
time.
you were just happy to have
We
it.
were
That's-
happy to
yes.
have it. I know, right? Oh my God, the legacy. We could just do a show on the heritage of the early models that have brought us to where we are today. And we were so thankful to have them then. And even if you probably are buying some of them in collections.
Correct.
The fact is, they still stand up to what it is you would expect.
And they also bring a little bit of sense of nostalgia too.
Yeah.
Yes,
in a way.
yes.
I know like my my QSI J and my QSI Northern. Every time because I got that Santa Fe Northern. Oh God, I got that for Christmas. Speaking of the holidays, probably when I was 8 or 9 years old at the time.
Right.
And I remember just like it was yesterday, like putting it on the track the first time Santa left it for me under the tree and taking it down to my dad's layout and running it. And the sounds just take you back to that moment. You know what I mean? It's just so nostalgic in that sense. You feel like you're a kid again in a way.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Talking about sound, remember the Pacific Fast Mail sound system when it first came out?
Yes.
The woo!
I actually believe
it was amazing at the time.
I have one of those at home because my
Okay.
father had that.
And it
that
came in a
big
beautiful
bug-
cabinet.
Yes,
The big,
big-
yes.
something like that. Yes, because speaking
You
of
know-
the Blue Goose, he had the Ten Shoto Blue Goose, which I always remember.
That's it.
That as childhood memories of. I've always remembered the Blue Goose. That was one of the things that, mid '70s. I can remember. Well, that was the one thing that my father had that was top notch. That was the top of the mountain for
Oh,
him.
they made some
That's-
gorgeous stuff. The Great Northern pieces they made, the Santa Fe pieces. I've got an old PFM, Pacific Fast Mail, catalog back here, and it was just rich to look through it. And then you find all the old boxes. In fact, they look like denim boxes. Some of them were denim in color, the blue color boxes.
Yeah.
A great heritage of models. A great heritage.
Well,
Open frame motors, too. Remember those days? Yes. No, you don't remember those days, but I know we do. Oh my gosh, we're getting way off subject
Well,
here.
I tell you
It
what,
doesn't take much.
This is when
I
the
was-
show is the best, is when we're having a conversation.
I was
truly
just
is.
stoked to learn, that I could install tsunami sound in my old Kato GP7s and Atlas RS1s and all that stuff that I had growing up.
There you go.
Yeah.
One more thing, you were talking about how you could quill the whistle on the PFM.
Yes.
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 So on our models, and I see you have the NCE power cab there, you can do that on our models too. If you put like the K2 Mikado on the track, if you hold down the whistle button, and while you're holding down the whistle button, take the speed wheel, and you can move it up or down. You can quill your whistle on our models by doing the NCE power cab that way. A lot of people don't know that, but that's something that we try to show off at shows. And,
Look at his face.
Dude!
You like the little Easter eggs.
If you have your limited blue goose at home, you can quill the whistle with it, and it'll sound just like however customized you want to do it. And it'll do it while it's moving or while it's stopped. Just as long as you quill it on the wheel while holding down the button, you can do that on your NC power cab.
Oh, man.
It all comes full circle.
There you go. Let's go around the table one more time. Have we covered everything tonight?
I believe so.
Curtis?
I think so for the most part. I just want to tell people, too, two quick things. One, if you aren't getting our emails from Broadway Limited, make sure you are, because each month, near the end of the month, I personally write and organize what's called the Broadway Flyer, which is our monthly newsletter that gets emailed and posted on our website. And you get the latest information on projects, order deadlines, any news that's coming out. So we have a small delay with our SP GS4s that are supposed to be coming soon. So I explained why it's delayed in that. Anything that you're wondering about us. And the best part is that we allow customers to ask us questions. I post a monthly post on our social media platforms. If you have questions for us, please leave it in the comments on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. I sift through all of them. There's a lot of them. Trust me. There's usually like on one post, it's like 100 comments on Facebook that I have to shift through and see which questions we can answer. And all across social media platforms. And this one's a big one. We got a lot of really great questions this month. So if you're not getting our emails, please make sure that you're signed up for it. I know people get a little annoyed with their spam mail and everything getting filled up, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of great stuff coming out from us, and it's always useful to get the latest update on whatever project you're looking to get from us. And one more thing too, Ken, I don't know if you've used any of the renders yet, but the 3D renderings that our artist is coming out with, some of the models that we've come out with are just going to be spectacular. We're using those a lot in our advertising and everything like that. So if you've got any really cool models that you want from us, but it's kind of hard to decipher if you want it or not because it's a 2D artwork, we're working on getting 3D rendering so you can physically see what it'll look like when it comes into stores and when you pick it up at your dealer online or in store.
Oh, Curtis, I could send you a list. And believe you me, any of the outdoor photography that I have, feel free to use it in your advertisements.
Absolutely.
I've been doing ad photography now in this hobby for since 1988.
Yeah, your photos are awesome.
I have had over 750 ads in the industry. So with that, I'm going to say we're coming up on the 45 minutes on this show. We want to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving for you and your family. I am going to give James Regier the NCE Pro Cab here.
So you press
and
the
he's
two
going to
and
figure out how to quill the whistle.
Yes,
let's go quill some whistles.
I know you are. I know you can. It's one of the most amazing systems out there simply because it works. I say that all the time over and over again, but when you want to run a train, I don't want to be fiddling with trying to figure out how to hit buttons and program stuff. I want to be able to look at the layout, turn a knob, and make my train go. And that's what we all want, and that's what we get when we use the NCE system, the power of DCC. Right?
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much, Richard, for running camera. I'm sorry you couldn't hear a word that he said, but when you watch the show, you're going to see what you did. You rock, brother. Best hobby in the world with some of the best people in it. Here goes November. December's on its way, guys. Let's go run some trains.
And quill some whistles.
Oh my gosh, you got him going tonight now. I remember he's all excited like a new toy. Keep camera one rolling for at least 45 seconds after I kill sound so I can roll credits. Good job, Curtis.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wonderful show tonight.
Very nice show.
I know, I don't know where to start on that list. Let's think. What was those things I loved up at Lombard's? Those big beautiful long centipedes. Centipedes?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, centipedes, blue gooses. It doesn't matter. It's just rock and roll, guys. I love this show, and I love having you on it.
Oh, thank you. I love coming on it. Anytime you need me, let me
gonna
know.
kill
Be happy to
sound.
jump on.
Without stepping on sound, because I don't want to lose it.
Yep.
That was close. Camera 2 is stopped, right?
Yep.
So we got the thumbnail then? Is that-
Yeah, I guess
Oh, I
we
forgot
got.
the thumbnail.
You gotta do the thumbnail.
Okay, let's do a thumbnail.
Thumbnail, let's
We don't
go.
need
All right.
sound for a thumbnail.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, well, I want to hold something pretty. Let's do this because it's easy and it's one piece. Look at camera number 1 rolling right there. I'll pick up sound off the camera. You smile and wave. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
And we have a thumbnail. Thanks for reminding me. I totally blew that off tonight. I wonder how that's going to time out in a closing. Sound is dead, but I'll pick up sound off camera number 1. Thank you, Richard.
Wait, we lost sound?
No, we
No.
didn't lose anything.